Have you ever loved someone so deeply, only to realize that your love meant nothing to them? It's crushing, isn't it? The silent moments, the ignored messages, the little gestures you gave freely that were never noticed, they cut deeper than words can say. And the worst part, you start doubting yourself, wondering if you're too much or maybe not enough. But here's the truth, it's not you, it's them. When a woman doesn't feel valued, it hurts in ways no one can see, inside her heart, her soul. Today, I want to reveal the signs, the emotions, and the truth that many ignore. Stay till the end. You deserve this clarity. Comment below your city where you're watching from. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more life-changing insights. Have you ever paused to think about the weight of silence in a relationship? Not the silence that comes naturally between two people who are comfortable, but the silence that comes from being unseen, from being emotionally neglected. That is a pain that no words can soften. When a woman pours her heart into someone, when she invests her time, her attention, her energy, she expects at least the basic acknowledgement of her presence. Emotional neglect is not always loud, it often whispers. And those whispers slowly shape a narrative in her mind that her feelings don't matter, that her love is invisible, that her efforts are meaningless. It's fascinating from a psychological perspective how deeply this kind of neglect can wound. Humans are wired to seek connection, to feel recognized and appreciated. When those signals of validation are absent, it triggers a kind of cognitive dissonance. She begins to question herself, am I too much? Am I not enough? Is something wrong with me? And yet, the truth is far simpler and harsher. The problem lies not within her, but in the lack of recognition from the one who claims to care. The mind and heart crave acknowledgement, and when that need is repeatedly ignored, it erodes confidence and self-worth. Philosophically, one could argue that emotional neglect is a subtle form of betrayal. It's not the dramatic fights or the words spoken in anger that sting the deepest. It's the slow, consistent disregard for her inner world. Every unnoticed effort, every unreturned gesture, every moment she feels invisible chips away at the foundation of trust. Trust is not built merely on presence, but on the consistent validation of one another's humanity. To undervalue her is to disregard her very essence. And this is where many fail to see the consequences. The damage isn't always immediate or obvious, but it accumulates quietly. A woman may continue to give, continue to hope, and continue to love, all while carrying an invisible wound. Over time, that quiet hurt becomes a storm of resentment, frustration, and sadness. She doesn't just feel undervalued, she feels unsafe emotionally, unsure whether her heart can ever find a home in someone else's. This is the gravity of emotional neglect. It's a slow, silent erosion of the spirit. So what can be done? Recognition, appreciation, and presence are simple yet profound. They are not grand gestures, but the small, deliberate acts that signal, I see you, I hear you, you matter to me. Consistent acknowledgement is transformative. It validates not only her efforts, but her worth, reinforcing the bond and trust between two people. Remember this: when you fail to value her, you are not merely overlooking her actions, you are dismissing her soul. And when that happens, the hurt is profound, deep, and lasting. Value her, see her, honor her presence, and watch the relationship thrive in ways you could never have imagined. Respect is the invisible thread that holds any meaningful connection together. It's not about grand declarations or impressive gestures. It's about consistent acknowledgement of her thoughts, her boundaries, and her individuality. When a woman senses that her opinions are dismissed, that her emotions are trivialized, or that her efforts go unnoticed, it sends a subtle yet powerful message. You don't matter to me, and this message, repeated over time, chips away at trust, the very foundation of intimacy. Trust is fragile, and once broken, it can be painstakingly difficult to rebuild. From a psychological standpoint, respect is far more than courtesy. It is a mirror in which she sees herself reflected. When she feels respected, she feels validated. Her thoughts are worthy, her choices are important, and her heart is secure. Without this reflection, she experiences a kind of existential doubt. Am I enough? Do I deserve to be heard? These are not mere questions. They are silent screams of a woman whose emotional needs are being overlooked. The lack of respect creates a dissonance between her inner value and the way she is treated, and this dissonance fuels frustration, anxiety, and emotional withdrawal. Philosophically, respect can be seen as the acknowledgement of another human being's sovereignty, the recognition that she is a whole being with her own desires, feelings, and agency. Ignoring or belittling her thoughts is akin to denying her existence in the relationship. It is subtle, but the impact is profound. A woman may continue to invest her energy, hope, and love, all while internalizing the feeling that her presence is insignificant. Over time, this leads not just to disappointment, but to a deep, gnawing sense of betrayal. She wonders why she gives so much yet receives so little in return. The danger is that disrespect doesn't just hurt in the moment. It erodes the long-term potential of a relationship. Emotional distance grows quietly. Conversations become transactional. Laughter fades. Even physical closeness can feel hollow when the underlying emotional connection is fractured by neglect of respect. A woman may start withdrawing, not out of spite, but as a natural response to being undervalued. This is the subtle, slow-moving erosion of intimacy, one that often goes unnoticed until the damage feels irreparable. So, what can be done? Respect is simple in concept, yet transformative in practice. It requires active listening, sincere acknowledgement, and honoring boundaries. It means treating her perspectives as valuable and her emotions as legitimate. It means showing up consistently, not just when convenient, but because her humanity matters to you. When you practice respect intentionally, the relationship shifts from a fragile, tense connection to one that is resilient, nurturing, and deeply fulfilling. Never forget this. Failing to respect a woman is not merely a relational misstep. It is an emotional wound that lingers long after words are forgotten. Respect her, honor her, and give her the acknowledgement she deserves. In doing so, you not only preserve the relationship, but you honor the essence of who she is. There is perhaps no pain more profound than feeling taken for granted. It's not the loud arguments or the occasional misunderstandings that hurt a woman the most. It's the quiet, almost invisible erosion of her value in the eyes of someone she loves. When she pours herself into a relationship, giving her time, her attention, and her heart, she does so with vulnerability. And when that vulnerability is met with indifference or apathy, it leaves a wound that lingers far longer than any spoken insult ever could. Psychologically, being taken for granted creates a deep dissonance between effort and recognition. A woman notices every gesture she makes, every sacrifice she offers, yet when these go unnoticed or unappreciated, it triggers feelings of invisibility. She begins to question not only the relationship, but also her own worth. Am I asking too much? She wonders. Do my feelings not matter? These questions gnaw at her quietly, a slow, burning frustration that can eventually manifest as withdrawal, resentment, or emotional exhaustion. Philosophically, to take someone for granted is to dismiss their essence. It is to treat their presence as optional, their contributions as expected, and their emotions as secondary. A woman's love is never transactional, but when it is met with routine indifference, it begins to feel that way. This is not merely about feeling unappreciated. It is about the denial of her existence as a fully realized emotional being. When a person she values does not recognize her worth, it sends a message that her heart, her time, and her devotion are less significant than they truly are. The consequences of being taken for granted extend far beyond the moment. Emotional energy is finite, and when consistently ignored, she starts to protect herself. The laughter fades, the excitement wanes, and intimacy loses its meaning. Even if she remains physically present, emotionally she may be elsewhere, retreating into a space where she feels seen and valued. This quiet retreat is not betrayal. It is self-preservation. When someone does not value her, she has no choice but to safeguard her own heart. The remedy, however, is deceptively simple yet incredibly powerful. Gratitude, acknowledgement, and active appreciation can transform this dynamic entirely. By recognizing her efforts, valuing her presence, and showing consistent care, you signal that she is seen, heard, and cherished. These small, deliberate actions carry weight far beyond their surface. They restore trust, rekindle connection, and reaffirm her emotional safety. Remember this, when a woman feels taken for granted, it is not merely a reflection on the relationship. It is a reflection on how much you value her essence. Every overlooked gesture, every unacknowledged effort is a silent dismissal of her heart. Honor her presence, appreciate her love, and never underestimate the power of simple acknowledgement. When you do more than save a relationship. You affirm the human dignity of someone who chose to invest herself in you.